The Feywild shimmered with colour as the grand festival of beasts unfolded beneath glowing mushrooms. Wild melodies filled the air, played by satyrs and dryads, while floating lanterns pulsed in time with the heartbeat of the realm. At the centre stood Lord Thornmane, the animal Lord of Lions. His form, a towering golden lion with a mane woven with wildflowers and brambles. His golden eyes gleamed as a trio of adventurers knelt before him. "Matter Thornmane," said Caelan, half-elf ranger draped in a cloak of owl feathers, "we seek your favour and guidance on a journey." The animal lord chuckled, shaking petals from his mane. "Favour? Guidance? How curious! But all bargains demand a price." Thornmane paced around them before pausing. "I seek not gold nor servitude, but something stranger. You should each surrender the first dream you remember. Not just recall it, but extract it from your minds with this." He held up a delicate glass jar shimmering with fey magic. Thornmane grinned. With a flick of his tail, the jar opened, and shimmering tendrils of light wove into the adventurer's mind, pulling forward their forgotten dreams. As they drifted into the jar, each felt an odd emptiness, as though a piece of their childhood has faded into the mist. The pact was sealed. Power surged through Caelan as spectral lions flickered at his fingertips, ethereal manes roaring in the unseen wind. Thornmane rumbled in approval. "Go now, little hunter. Carry my will. May your dreams forever run with the bride." The carnival swelled with laughter and song once more as the adventurers departed, forever changed. Today's video is on the Animal Lords. First, what does the Monster Manual tell you? So, Animal Lords are the spirits which embody animals. Animal Lords reside in the outer plane of the Beastlands and sometimes the Feywild. They are celestials which act kind of like demigod, protectors of their respective species. They're said to often change into a giant glorified form of the animal that they're associated with. The most famous animal lords are the cat, hawk, lizard, and wolf. However, animal lords exist for all beasts. This includes species that are extinct or rare. Using their divine powers, animal lords cast spells to converse with animals, such as speak with animals or animal friendship. Animal lords can also summon spectral animals, or even awaken animals with the spell Awaken. Next, let's talk about the stats. So, the stats in the 5e book are a little hard to parse, as in the one stat block is essentially 3 different creatures, those being the Forager, Hunter, and Sage. I'll try to break them down separately. So, the Forager, it represents an example list of D10 creatures seen on your screen that gives 2 additional abilities. The Forager gives the Animal Lord an aura that charms and an effect on their animal spirit action of gaining 20 temporary hit points. The Hunter represents an example list on screen of D10 creatures and gives 2 abilities. The Hunter gives the Animal Lord an aura that gives the Frightened condition and an effect on the animal spirit action to give attacks against the target advantage. And then the Sage represents an example list of D10 creatures, not on your screen, that gives 2 abilities and 2 spells limited to once per day. The Sage gives an aura that deals 3d6 psychic damage and gives the Bewildered condition, forcing the target to subtract 1d4 from any saving throws. I did check the new Player's Handbook and the old Player's Handbook. Bewildered is a unique feature to this monster, I believe. I couldn't find Bewildered online anywhere except for a cantrip that... Anyway, we'll get back to the video. And it subtracts 1d4 from any saving throws, and it also, the Sage also has an effect on the animal spirit action, wherein the target has disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws until the end of its next turn. The once per day spells are Animal Shapes and Sunburst. Overall, the stats... The Animal Lord is a tough CR20 monster with 327 HP and a 19 AC. The monster can run, fly, swim at 60 feet. Notably no burrow speed, but that's, I guess, maybe a little bit of an oversight. And most of its stats are superhuman, so above 20. The creature has an almost unbeatable plus 19 on initiative rolls, and a plus 18 on perception checks. The Animal Lord also has some nice resistances and immunity, as well as true sight to 120 feet. This creature is said to know all languages, which presumably means it can speak to the various animals that it mates in the wider world. Maybe that sort of calls into question why it has speak with animals, but I digress. Action economy wise, this creature is impressive. As one action, the Animal Lord makes either 2 melee rend attacks or 2 ranged radiant rays, as well as using its animal spirit to attack and proc the Animal Lordship additional effects. Animal Lordship is the term used in the book to talk in generally about the forager, hunter, and sage. So, what the monster manual doesn't tell you. So, in previous editions, the lore focuses on the singularity, the uniqueness of the Animal Lords by giving separate descriptions for individual Animal Lords, rather than talking about them generally like the 5e book does. The few details we get about Animal Lords more generally include that all Animal Lords were previously said to have innate telepathy and extrasensory perception, so like a sixth sense. Animal Lords were also said to vary in alignment and aggression based on the animal they represented, such as a wolf lord being more aggressive than a rabbit lord. And unlike the 4 times per day legendary resistance presented in the 5e book, in previous editions the monster lords had 3 times per day anti-magic resistance, and they were more generally immune to being charmed from any source. Additionally, previous editions tell us that the Animal Lords could summon up to 12 creatures that they represent up to 3 times per day. The Animal Lords of 5e are true neutral, but it could be accurate to describe them as being unaligned. In previous editions, they were not said to be explicitly immoral, but rather amoral. In previous editions, the spell list of the Animal Lords was also different, with them having access to spells like Plane Shift and Teleport. Let's wrap this video up. So in conclusion, the Animal Lord presented in the book realistically probably should have been 3 monster stat blocks. The entry asks more questions than it answers, but unfortunately I, even after writing the script, don't really know what they are or where they come from. Is there a pathway to becoming an Animal Lord? Can, for example, a well-trained lion in his prime challenge the Lord of Lions to become the Animal Lord? At what point is a species different enough to warrant an Animal Lord? Is there a horse or a donkey lord? And if so, what about mule lords? I get that this is the philosophical debate about how to define speciation. Cues. Greek philosophers busting in. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. That's not why you click this video. I think it's important to know like how many Animal Lords are there. Like the Animal Lords are unique in that there's only 1 per type, but how many animal types classify? Is there a hierarchy where 2 unrelated species evolve similar features and adaptations? Do they get their own Animal Lords, or is it one shared? The 5e book also hints at Animal Lords traveling to the Feywild, and this leaped out of the page at me. The creature simply makes for an archfey more than it makes for an animal demigod. I could see Animal Lords becoming patrons for warlocks and the focus of worship for druids or clerics. The monster should have cultists and worshippers making pilgrimage across the plains to see it and worship it, but back to the matter at hand. The 5e book is good. I just would have liked to have seen more pages than 2 to express this idea. I'm going to give this monster a 16 out of 20.